The footage of this video you're about to see was captured from an old VHS cassette I had since 2004. I started capturing digitally in 2016. Some of the footage I have was not the best in the world, but it's all I have. I hope this doesn't detract from your viewing pleasure. And now, the feature presentation.
On December 29th, 2005, I was there.
With the Silicon Valley Football Classic gone, how was I going to get my live December college bowl game fix? On New Year's Eve in 2002, a new bowl game in the Bay Area would be added to the schedule. It was a mouthful in the beginning. The Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. The game was played at a still young Pacific Bell Park. While the Giants were the core tenants, the ballpark was used for a multi-purpose experiment. That would be the infamous 2001 XFL season. Pac Bell Park would be the home of the runner-up San Francisco Demons. Despite playing in the smallest venue of all 8 teams in that league, the Demons had the highest average attendance. The Demons actually averaged more fans per game in that lonely season than the Giants drew in 2019. They even would one-up the Raiders by affectionately calling one of their cheering sections the Hellhole. Anyway, after the experiment worked, the NCAA decided to put a college bowl game at the park, which was a nail-biter between the Air Force and Virginia Tech. My girlfriend at the time was there with her parents, and I watched the game in spirit while in my den wishing I was there. 3 years later, I decided to let my new girlfriend at the time into my world. It would be the first time she and I would get in the car and go to a sports ball game together. 15 years later, it wouldn't be the last. In fact, the video I did about the last game I went to before that worldwide COOF thing in early 2020 began, she was there with me. I think she knew this was what some of our dates were going to be like. I am thankful that she would still be sitting right next to me, win or lose for all of these years. When the woman you love gets you tickets to a postseason game of any kind, especially a Stanley Cup playoff game, you do everything you can to keep her. Our first sports ball date was great. She introduced me to a great breakfast joint in my town I didn't know existed that was founded by former NHL player, the late Don O'Donoghue. We even thanked them in 2017 by gifting them a Seals jersey with Odie's name on it. It was time well spent in the chilly December weather in San Francisco while she snacked on garlic fries. There was no Northern California representation in this one. Fresno State went to Memphis, the Cowbears played in Vegas a week earlier, Bill Walsh's former teams Stanford and San Jose State, they didn't make it. So like in 2004, I would be at a bowl game as a neutral observer. Let's meet the contestants for the 2005 edition of the newly named Emerald Bowl. After having a monumental 2004 season where they ran the table, became the first BCS buster, and smashing Pittsburgh in the Fiesta Bowl, the Utah Utes took about, let's say, 5 steps back. Coach Urban Meyer left after 2 seasons to coach the Florida Gators for 6 seasons. The Utes also lost 5 players to the NFL, including the Heisman finalist, quarterback Alex Smith, who would go on to be the #1 overall selection of the 2005 draft. Kyle Whittingham, who was Utah's defensive coordinator for 10 seasons, would be promoted to head coach. Utah would have an average season, finishing 6-5 with the only impressive win on week 1 against Arizona. Notables on the team in this game were defensive back Eric Weddle. Weddle played 13 seasons in the NFL and was a 6-time Pro Bowl selection. Weddle would announce his retirement in February 2020 after playing his last season with the LA Rams. Starting quarterback for the Utes was Brett Ratliff. After the #1 quarterback for Utah, Brian Johnson, got his knee wrecked in a loss to New Mexico on November 12th, Ratliff, a freshman, would be thrown into the deep end. He would start the following week in the Holy War against BYU with a bowl berth on the line. After a fantastic game which included 4 touchdowns, one of them the game winner in overtime, this was how the Utes would be going to San Francisco. A fun fact about Ratliff: in 2009 as a third-string quarterback with the Jets, he would be traded to the Cleveland Browns as part of a trade that would give the Jets Cleveland's first-round pick, which was how the highly touted USC quarterback Mark Sanchez became the Jets' franchise player for a few years. As for Brian Johnson, he was hired as the offensive coordinator for the University of Florida in 2020. The other team in this affair? Well, I'll be, if it isn't the Ramblin wreck from Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets had a decent season that would have them in the top 25 for most of it. Their season started off with a bang. As an unranked team, they went to Auburn for the first game of the year and stunned the 16th ranked SEC school. Tech would spend the next month in the top 25 before consecutive losses to Virginia Tech and North Carolina State would drop them out. 3 straight wins later, they were back in the polls, then lost to Virginia. They would rank a little higher after going on the road and stunning another top-ranked school, this time derailing third-ranked Miami's hopes for a BCS bowl game. Despite the season-ending loss to their in-state rivals from Athens in some clean old-fashioned hate, Georgia Tech would finish with a bowl-eligible 7-4 record. So the Jackets would make another trip to the Bay Area. The last time they were in the Bay Area, it was one of the 2 Silicon Valley football games I didn't go to. The game in 2002 that had Fresno State finally getting over the hump and winning their first bowl game since the 1990s. Only one notable player was on the Jackets team that day. You may have heard of him. I know Detroit Lions fans have had fond memories of him. 6-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, 2nd overall pick of the 2007 NFL Draft, one of many who have graced the cover of the Madden video game and was given the nickname Megatron, Calvin Johnson. Starting quarterback for Tech, Reggie Ball. Ball was one of those quarterbacks that didn't make it and was famous for all the wrong reasons. In a clean old-fashioned hate game in 2004, Ball intentionally threw an incomplete pass. On 4th down. His college career was mediocre to say the least, completing less than half his passes and barely throwing for more touchdowns than turnovers. At the end of his senior season in 2006, Ball lost the ACC championship game against Wake Forest. Then he would be declared academically ineligible and would miss the 2007 Gator Bowl against West Virginia. Travis LaTondres was playing in his final college game with Utah on this day. He would go on to have a brief career in the Arena Football League with Las Vegas and Chicago after his college career was over. I say this because you'll be hearing his name a lot in this video. On the Yellow Jackets' 14-yard line, Ratliff would throw a short pass to LaTondres and Travis would take care of the rest.
First down from the 14. Going, LaTondres, touchdown! A terrific first drive, and Utah strikes first.
LaTondres would get a little bit carried away and would be flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. As a result, Dan Beardall would doink the PAT. After each team punted, Georgia Tech would march down to the Utah 28-yard line from their own 10. Instead of taking 3 points, they would gamble by going for it on 4th down, and Reggie Ball would literally be slipping.
Defense for Utah. Ball's going up with it. Slips again and goes down. Reggie Ball has had all sorts of trouble keeping his feet, and that time they pay for it dearly.
On the next possession, Utah would take it down to the Jackets' 24-yard line and would capitalize on the turnover. Once again, it was Ratliff to LaTondres.
Touchdowns. Brett Ratliff, just about perfect today. Landry fell down. It was an easy 6.
Next possession, after accepting another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty by the Utes, Georgia Tech would start at midfield. They would get to the Utah 21-yard line and hope to get on the board before the first quarter ended. Ball would make progress by completing a pass to Steve Tate.
The 2-18, good bookends with Johnson. Ball, and it's intercepted. He threw it right into the hands of Steve Tate, and Tate, reversing field, finally is dragged down by George Cooper, who was the intended receiver.
Whoops, Tate was on the other team. To begin the second quarter, Utah would make Tech pay for the interception 3 plays later. Yep, you guessed it, Ratliff to LaTondres.
Extremely accurately thrown ball.
Going the other way, that's a touchdown if he catches it, and he does! Travis LaTondres has the hat trick!
Okay, maybe the Jackets can get some points on this next drive. Maybe this 8-yard pass to Calvin Johnson will get some momentum going. Ugh, this isn't playing like a top 25 team, guys. So how are the Utes going to bury the Jackets deeper on this next possession? An Eric Weddle prayer to LaTondres in the end zone?
Second interception of the year for Harper. Utes have it on the 37. LaTondres back in at quarterback, trying to throw his first pass. There's a Weddle at quarterback, and he throws it into the end zone, and that is picked off.
Well, I'll be, Tech. You guys might get back into this yet. So after a 9-play drive, the Jackets would finally get on the board, thanks to George Cooper.
Ball going opposite of where Calvin Johnson is, finds George Cooper, and George Cooper finds the end zone.
After the two teams punted back and forth a few times, Georgia Tech would have the ball to end the first half. They would cut the Utes' lead in half after a 29-yard field goal by Travis Bell.
a 29-yard field goal. And Bell snaps the slide.
The third quarter was pretty much a ho-hum defensive struggle full of punts. Somewhere in there, Ratliff got picked off in the end zone.
3 guys lined up behind the quarterback, and getting away from pressure, he throws the interception. Jarris Wilkinson going to take it out of the end zone. He should not have done that.
But not much to it. Utah would add to the lead with a 23-yard field goal from Beardall. Tech would have the ball again, only to punt it away again to wind down the third quarter. The fourth quarter was when the Utes started to pull away. On the next Utah possession, Ratliff would once again find Latondras for 6 more.
He's got 3 touchdown passes today. 2nd and 11 from the 16. Latondras making 4 touchdown catches. And here comes the 2-point conversion. Ratliff corner the end zone. Latondras can do no wrong.
And a 2-point conversion because why not? After another 3 and out by the Yellow Jackets, someone else other than Latondras would find the end zone to put the game out of reach. That someone would be Quentin Ganther, taking it all the way for 41 yards.
5 years.
They got lucky this year. Ganther picks up the first down, slips a tackle by Reese, and Quentin Ganther scores. The first touchdown by someone other than Latondras.
On the Jackets' next possession, they would take the ball all the way to the Utes' 24-yard line and would try to keep the drive alive. They would turn over the ball on downs after Chris Wood was stopped for a loss of 1. Utah would run out the clock and hold on to win their 5th consecutive bowl game dating back to the 1999 Las Vegas Bowl. In fact, the Utes would win another 4 consecutive bowl games, which included another BCS bowl game. In the 2009 Sugar Bowl, Utah would have another undefeated season and blew out the Nick Saban coach SEC juggernaut Alabama. For Georgia Tech, the slaughter would be the beginning of a 7-game losing streak in bowl games that would end in 2012 with a win over USC at the Sun Bowl. This would be the only time I would go to San Francisco to see this bowl game. The game would be played at the home of the Giants until 2013. In 2014, the game would not only change their name again to the Foster Farms Bowl, but they would have a change of address. The game would be played at the new Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. After 10 years, this would be a roundabout return of the Silicon Valley Football Classic, except in a bigger stadium that hosted the 2019 College Football National Championship. The bowl game would change their name again in 2018 to the Red Box Bowl. As of writing and recording this, the game's future is now in limbo. Then the COVID-19 pandemic of 2020 happened. As a result, the 2020 Red Box Bowl would be the first FBS bowl game on the schedule to be canceled. Before the COVID spread began in the United States, the San Francisco 49ers, the core tenants of Levi's Stadium, decided not to renew their agreement to host the bowl game, meaning the game wouldn't have a home. Whether the game will find another venue in the Bay Area or move out completely like the Silicon Valley Football Classic did after 2004, that is yet to be determined.
This would be the first time I would take my wife out to a sports ball game, but it sure would not be the last when I was there on December 29th, 2005.
And he gets set up. Afiaki set him up.